Let me tell you something that sounds insane at first, but by the end of this video, it will feel like the only truth that ever made sense. Your dreams are not random. They are not meaningless. They are not just your brain firing off leftover thoughts while you sleep. Your dreams are messages, urgent, intelligent, symbolic communications from the deepest layer of your psyche. Carl Jung dedicated most of his life to this one fact, that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. And right now, this very moment, your unconscious is screaming to get your attention.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
The problem is you're not listening. Most people aren't. We've been trained to dismiss our dreams as irrelevant, childish, or just weird experiences that vanish when we wake up. But Jung warned us, if you ignore your dreams, you ignore yourself. You turn your back on the only part of you that knows who you really are, where you're meant to go, and what's standing in your way. And make no mistake, your life will suffer for it. Every time you feel lost, stuck, confused, anxious for no reason, what you're really feeling is the tension between your conscious life and your unconscious truth. And that truth has been showing up night after night in symbols, in stories, in characters, in emotions, but you keep brushing it off, saying it was just a dream. What if I told you that your next breakthrough, your next evolution, your next level of success is already encoded in your dreams, and all you have to do is learn how to read them? I'm going to take you on a journey, not just into dream analysis, but into the very core of your psyche. We're going to uncover why your dreams matter more than you've ever been told, how to decode the symbolic language they use, and how to make real, tangible life choices based on what your unconscious is trying to show you. This is not woo-woo. It's not vague. It's not abstract. It is psychological precision. It is soul-level clarity. And it is the most powerful tool you've been ignoring your whole life. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about that. That means every pattern you're trapped in, every toxic relationship you repeat, every time you sabotage your own success, those are not accidents. They are the result of unconscious forces that you've refused to confront. And the unconscious never stays silent. It speaks in dreams. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a man, an executive, successful on the surface, but deeply anxious and unfulfilled. He kept having a recurring dream of being trapped in a burning house. Every night, he'd wake up sweating, heart pounding, and go back to ignoring it. He said, it's just stress. But one day he finally brought it to a Jungian analyst, and they unpacked it. The house represented his constructed identity, his ego, his career, his image. And the fire was his repressed anger, his creativity, his desire to break free. His unconscious was saying, your current life is burning down because it's not authentic. Wake up, change. He didn't listen. A year later, his marriage collapsed, his health deteriorated, and he was forced to completely rebuild his life. Jung would say the dream was the warning. The dream was the invitation to transform consciously before life forced him to do it unconsciously. This is why dreams matter, because they show you what your ego can't see. They show you what's coming symbolically, emotionally, energetically before it shows up in the real world. And if you learn to interpret them, you gain access to a level of guidance most people will never touch. But let's get practical. How do you actually understand your dreams? Jung taught that dreams speak in symbols, not in literal language. But that means if you dream of death, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It often means something inside you is ending an identity, a belief, a relationship. If you dream of flying, it might represent liberation, rising above your current situation. If you dream of being chased, it often means there's a part of you you're avoiding, usually a shadow aspect, something you've disowned, but that's demanding to be integrated. Every symbol in your dream is you. That's one of the deepest truths in Jungian psychology. The monster, the child, the old man, the lover, the snake, they are all aspects of your psyche. Your dreams are not about other people. They are about you, your fears, your desires, your wounds, your potential. And the more you learn to see each symbol as a mirror, the more power you gain to actually change. Start by asking this: what emotion did the dream leave me with? And that emotion is the key. Not the plot, not the setting, the emotion. But if you wake up feeling terrified, ask what part of your life that fear is connected to. If you wake up inspired, ask what in your life is calling you forward. The unconscious doesn't waste time with irrelevant stories. Every dream is trying to make a point. And here's the kicker, it's usually the point you've been avoiding. That's why dreams feel strange. That's why they disturb us. Because they are showing us what we don't want to face. But if you're brave enough to face it, your life changes. Another question to ask: what archetype is showing up in this dream? Jung identified universal archetypes that appear in every culture, every mythology, and every dream. The hero, the shadow, the mother, the trickster, the wise old man. These are not just characters, they are energies, patterns that live inside all of us. When one of them shows up in your dream, it's trying to activate something in you. The dream of a hero usually means you're being called to a challenge. A dream of the shadow means there's a part of you you've rejected that needs to be integrated. A dream of the wise old man means there's wisdom available to you, but only if you're willing to listen. Archetypes are the language of the unconscious. Learn that language, and you unlock direct communication with your deeper self. Let me give you a personal example. A while back, I had a dream that I was underwater, sinking deeper and deeper, unable to breathe, surrounded by darkness. I woke up gasping. At first, I dismissed it. It's just a nightmare. But then I asked, what part of my life feels like drowning? What am I avoiding? And I realized I was suffocating in a role I had outgrown, trapped by my own success, afraid to let go. The dream wasn't random. It was urgent. It was saying, go deeper. Face what you're running from. And that dream changed my life. Not because it told me what to do, but because it told me where to look. And that's what dreams do. They don't give you commands. They give you direction. They point to the part of your life that needs your attention the most. But that direction is symbolic, not literal. If you dream of a car crash, it doesn't mean you'll crash your car. It might mean your direction in life is headed for destruction if you don't adjust. If you dream of being naked in public, it might mean you feel exposed or vulnerable in some area of your life. The dream is the mirror. And the more you look into it, the more you see what your waking mind is too distracted to notice. Jung warned us that ignoring dreams is like throwing away letters from your soul. Would you throw away a handwritten letter from someone who knows you better than anyone else? Someone who sees every part of you, your brilliance, your wounds, your fears, your destiny, and is trying to help. That's what the unconscious is. It's the part of you that sees the whole picture, and it speaks every night. The tragedy is not that the unconscious is silent. The tragedy is that we've stopped listening. So I have to ask you, what dreams have you been ignoring lately? What recurring images, strange symbols, or emotional moments have been trying to reach you? What part of your psyche is knocking on the door, begging to be seen? And what would happen if you finally opened that door? Dreams are not entertainment. They are not fantasies. They are the original form of therapy. Long before therapists existed, long before psychology was a field, humans sat around fires and told each other their dreams. Because they knew our dreams are sacred. They are visions. They are warnings. They are revelations. You don't need to be a psychologist to understand your dreams. You just need to care, to pay attention, and to ask the right questions, to listen. And once you start listening, everything changes. You'll notice that you start remembering more dreams, more vividly. You'll notice that your dreams become clearer, more intense, more direct. Because the unconscious responds to your attention. The more you engage with it, the more it trusts you, the more it reveals. And before long, your dream life becomes a second life, one that guides and transforms your waking life. That's when you realize you don't have to figure it all out with your conscious mind. You have a guide. You've always had one. But now, finally, you're listening. The moment you start paying attention to your dreams, you begin to walk a different path. It's not a path most people choose, not because it's hidden, but because it's humbling. It forces you to admit that you don't know yourself as well as you thought. It shows you that the real you, the full you, the soul-deep, archetype-infused, shadow-laced version of you, that version has been trying to get your attention for years. And the doorway has always been there, wide open, waiting for you to step through it every single night. Jung said, "Dreams are the facts from which we must proceed. Not beliefs, not theories, facts. They are data, not in the digital sense, but in the psychological sense. They are raw psychic information. And when you ignore that data, when you throw it away because it doesn't fit into your waking logic, you're operating your life with only half the map. You are navigating your future with a blindfold on, wondering why you keep crashing into the same walls, repeating the same emotional loops, waking up with that gnawing feeling that something's missing, that something is your unconscious, and your dreams are its voice. Now let's get even more precise. Jung taught that dreams don't just reveal personal content, they also connect us to the collective unconscious. That means your dreams aren't just yours. They're part of a much larger intelligence, a shared symbolic field that every human taps into. That's why people across cultures who've never met, who've never spoken the same language, dream of the same symbols. Snakes, floods, flying, falling, being chased, standing before an ancient temple or mountain. These are not random. These are archetypal images. They are woven into the structure of the human psyche. That means when you dream of a snake, it's not just about your fear or fascination with snakes. It could be the archetype of transformation, of death and rebirth, of Kundalini energy rising, of shedding old skin. But only you can know what the symbol means for you. And that's the secret. Every dream is both collective and personal. It speaks from the universal, but it lands in the context of your life. That's why you can't Google your dreams and expect to find the answer. Dream dictionaries are useless without the dreamer's truth. The only way to understand your dreams is to build a relationship with them. And this is where the real magic begins. When you start treating your dreams like sacred messages, instead of random images, your entire psyche begins to reorganize. You begin to see patterns. You notice recurring themes, symbols, and emotions. But you realize that your dreams are not chaotic, they are structured, intelligent, and deeply intentional. They're not entertainment, they're education. They're not distractions, they're directions. And one of the most powerful things you'll notice is that your dreams actually respond to your conscious life. Change something in your waking life, end a relationship, start a new project, confront a fear, and your dreams will shift. They will reflect your growth or your resistance. They will celebrate your courage or confront your avoidance. That's because the unconscious is alive. It's not a passive storage space. It's dynamic, and it's always trying to balance you. That's one of Jung's greatest insights. The dream compensates for the waking ego. If your ego is inflated, the dream will bring you down to earth. If your ego is too small, the dream will show you your power. If your ego is stuck in fear, the dream will show you what you're avoiding. And if your ego is lost, the dream will show you the next step if you're willing to see it. Let's talk about nightmare dreams. Most people think nightmares are bad. They're not. They are some of the most important dreams you'll ever have. Jung said we should approach them with reverence, not fear. Because nightmares are your unconscious raising its voice. They are emergency signals. They are saying something in your psyche is out of alignment and you're not listening. So it gets louder. The monster chasing you isn't trying to kill you, it's trying to be seen. The darkness swallowing you isn't punishment, it's initiation. The death you experience in the dream isn't the end, it's a symbolic call to transformation. Nightmares often appear before major life shifts. They are thresholds. They are warnings, yes, but they also contain the wisdom for how to move forward. The question is not, how do I stop these nightmares? The question is, what am I refusing to face in waking life, and what is the dream trying to help me confront? There's another class of dreams that people often ignore, but Jung paid close attention to them: precognitive dreams. Dreams that seem to predict future events. Now, we're not talking about fortune telling. We're talking about the psyche's ability to sense patterns before the conscious mind can see them. The unconscious picks up on subtle cues, emotional shifts, symbolic movements in your life, and it projects them into dream form. Sometimes, these dreams seem prophetic. You dream of someone you haven't seen in years, and they call you the next day. You dream of falling, and the next week you experience a collapse in your career or relationship. These are not coincidences. They are synchronistic. They are your inner world aligning with your outer world in a way that defies logic but reveals truth. Jung documented hundreds of these cases. He didn't claim to understand how they worked fully, but he knew they were real. And he knew they were critical, because they show us that time in the unconscious is not linear. The unconscious doesn't separate past, present, and future the way the ego does. It sees the whole. So when you dream, you're accessing a field of intelligence that is not bound by the same rules as your waking mind. That means your dreams can help you not only understand your past and present, but also prepare for your future. You might be wondering, how do I actually begin to work with dreams in a way that changes my life? Start here. Get a dream journal. Nothing fancy. Just a notebook by your bed. The moment you wake up, before you touch your phone, write down everything you remember, even if it's fragments, even if it's just an image or a feeling. Don't analyze yet, just capture. Over time, you'll build a relationship with your dream life. Your recall will improve. Your dreams will become more vivid. Your unconscious will realize you're paying attention, and it will open more doors. Then, begin to reflect. Ask what symbols appeared. What emotions did I feel? What archetypes can I identify? What parts of myself are showing up in this dream? What is the dream asking me to face, release, or integrate? Don't try to decode your dreams with your rational mind alone. Use your imagination. Use your intuition. Let the symbols speak to you. If you dream of a lion, don't just say, "Oh, strength." Ask, where in my life do I need to be more courageous? Am I suppressing my power, or am I being too aggressive? If you dream of a child, ask, what part of my innocence or vulnerability needs healing? If you dream of a ruined city, ask, what structure in my life is no longer supporting me? The dream is not abstract, it is specific. But it requires your willingness to feel into it, to dialogue with it, to let it teach you. This is the work Jung called active imagination, engaging with the dream imagery as if it were alive, because it is. The figures in your dreams are not passive, they are living energies within your psyche. And when you build relationships with them, you reclaim parts of yourself that have been lost, buried, or denied. You see, ultimately, this is not just about dream interpretation. It's about integration. The goal is not to become a dream expert. The goal is to become a whole human being. Jung believed that wholeness is the real aim of life, not perfection, not success, not happiness. Wholeness, and your dreams are the map. They show you where you are fragmented, where you are living someone else's story, where you are pretending, where you are hiding. And they also show you the path back to your essence. They show you the lost child, the repressed artist, the hidden warrior, the forgotten mystic. All the parts of you that the world didn't accept, but that your soul still remembers. So I'll ask you again, more directly now, what are your dreams trying to show you that you've been unwilling to see? What pattern keeps repeating in your dream life, and what does it reflect in your waking life? What shadow figure keeps chasing you, and what truth are you running from? What moment in your dream made your heart race, your body tense, your spirit ache, and what would happen if you stopped ignoring it and started listening? This is not a game. This is not entertainment. This is the most important conversation you'll ever have, because it's the one between you and the deepest part of who you are. And the longer you avoid it, the more you will feel disconnected, anxious, purposeless. But the moment you turn toward it, the moment you say, "I'm ready to listen," everything begins to shift. Your dreams become clearer. Your decisions become easier, and your path becomes more aligned, because you are no longer being pulled in two directions. Conscious and unconscious begin to work together, and that is when the real transformation begins. Now imagine this, you're standing at a crossroads in your life. You've got choices in front of you, maybe a relationship that no longer feels right, a job that drains you, a dream you've buried under years of doubt. You've tried all the logical tools. You've made the pros and cons lists. You've asked for advice. You've read every motivational quote. But still, something in you doesn't feel clear. Something is unsettled. You can't explain it, but it's like there's a fog you just can't move through. And then one night you dream. Maybe you're walking through an abandoned house with doors you're afraid to open. Maybe you're flying over a city that feels both familiar and strange. Maybe someone you haven't seen in years looks you in the eye and says, "It's time." You wake up, heart pounding, confused but deeply moved. And that's when it hits you. This isn't just a dream, it's a message. It's guidance. It's your unconscious, your deeper self, your soul trying to show you something your conscious mind couldn't see. And in that moment, you realize the greatest mistake you've been making isn't inaction, it's ignoring the only part of you that knows the truth. Carl Jung understood what most people still don't. That the unconscious isn't a dark basement full of repressed trauma. It's also a source of creativity, of wisdom, of spiritual insight. It's the reservoir of your potential. And if you learn to listen to your dreams, you're not just decoding symbols, you're unlocking the full spectrum of who you are. But here's the thing, becoming whole is not comfortable. It's not about feeling good. It's about becoming real. And the process of integrating your dreams, of facing your shadow, embracing your archetypes, following the guidance of your inner world, that process can be terrifying. Because it means letting go of who you thought you were. It means shedding false identities, breaking inherited patterns, walking away from the roles that no longer serve your evolution. And it means stepping into the unknown, guided only by the compass of your dreams. Jung once said that dreams are the most natural expression of the unconscious. That means they're not edited. They're not filtered through your ego. They come straight from the source. And that's why they're so powerful. Because they bypass your defenses. They go straight to the heart of what matters. So when a dream shakes you, when it leaves you speechless or disturbed or inspired, don't dismiss it. That's the moment to lean in. That's the moment to ask, what is this dream trying to awaken in me? What part of myself have I abandoned? What truth have I buried beneath convenience or fear? Because your unconscious will never lie to you. It will challenge you. It will confront you. But it will never deceive you. Its only goal is wholeness. And every dream is a step toward that goal. Now, let's talk about something most people never consider, that your dreams don't just reflect your inner life, they also shape your outer life. When you start working with your dreams, you begin to notice synchronicities. Events in your waking life start to mirror your dreams. You think of someone in a dream, and they call the next day. You dream of water, and suddenly you're thrown into an emotional wave you didn't see coming. These aren't coincidences, they're clues. They're evidence that your inner and outer worlds are not separate, they're connected. That's why Jung said that the psyche is not just inside your head. It extends into the world. It speaks through dreams, through symbols, through chance meetings, through unexpected turns. And when you begin to live in dialogue with your dreams, your entire life becomes more meaningful. You stop seeing things as random, but you start seeing them as part of a larger pattern, a pattern that is uniquely yours. But here's where it gets real. Dreams don't just reveal who you are, they reveal who you could become. They show you your potential, your future self, the version of you that is waiting to be born. And that version will not emerge through comfort or routine. It will emerge through challenge, through initiation, through the symbolic death and rebirth that dreams often portray. That's why so many people dream of dying, of being chased, of falling, of losing something they love. These are not nightmares, these are initiations. They are invitations to let go of the false self so the true self can emerge. And if you resist them, If you try to stay safe, you stay stuck. But if you accept the invitation, if you surrender to the wisdom of your dreams, you begin a journey that no one else can take for you. A journey into your own soul. So what does that look like in practice? It means making decisions not just with your rational mind, but with your full self. But it means checking in with your dreams before making a major life change. It means noticing the symbolic echoes between your dream life and your waking life. It means asking deeper questions like, what is life trying to teach me through this dream? What part of me is being called forward? What part of me is dying? What part of me needs to be reclaimed? And most of all, it means trusting yourself, trusting that your unconscious knows what you need, trusting that the symbols are not random, trusting that even the darkest dream contains a seed of light, of healing, of evolution. Jung warned that modern people are spiritually starved because they've lost contact with their inner world. We live in a world of constant distraction. Endless scrolling, constant noise, superficial stimulation. But none of it satisfies the soul. None of it leads to wholeness. And that's why you can be surrounded by success, comfort, luxury and still feel empty. Because you're not in touch with your own depths. You're not listening to your dreams. You're not living in alignment with your unconscious truth. And that disconnection creates suffering, invisible suffering. The kind of suffering that doesn't show up on the outside, but eats away at your spirit from the inside. But the antidote is available. It's always been available. Every night, in the silence of sleep, your unconscious offers you a lifeline. It offers you a map, a mirror, a message. And all you have to do is listen. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Tonight, when you go to bed, set an intention. Not just to sleep, but to remember. Say to yourself, I am open to receiving the wisdom of my dreams. And when you wake up, write. Even if it's one sentence, even if it's just a color, a feeling, a single image. Then ask, what is this dream trying to show me? What is the next step it's pointing to? If you do this consistently, your life will begin to change. Not in dramatic, overnight ways, but in deep, steady, soul-aligned ways. You will begin to feel more connected to yourself, more clear in your decisions, more alive in your purpose, because you will no longer be divided. You will be living as one whole being, conscious and unconscious, light and shadow, ego and soul walking together, moving in the same direction. And that is the real power of dreams, not just to inform you, but to transform you. Not just to reflect your life, but to redirect it. Not just to entertain, but to initiate. Every dream is a doorway. And the question is, will you open it? Will you walk through it? Will you finally stop ignoring the part of you that has never stopped believing in your potential, in your wholeness, in your truth? Because here's the truth Jung left us with, one that's more relevant now than ever before. If we do not make peace with our unconscious, it will rule us from the shadows. If we do not integrate our dreams, they become our nightmares. If we do not listen to the messages of the soul, we will hear them as screams in our suffering. But if we do listen, really listen, then our dreams become our greatest allies. They become the compass that leads us through the chaos of life. They become the wisdom we didn't know we were missing. And they remind us, again and again, that we are not lost. We are just being called deeper in. So I'll leave you with this. What if your next breakthrough, your next healing, your next awakening, what if it's already waiting in your next dream? What if the answer you've been searching for in the external world has been inside you all along, speaking in symbols, whispering in images, waiting to be heard? And what if tonight, finally you said yes? Yes to remembering, yes to listening, yes to becoming whole, because that's what your dreams are trying to tell you. They always have been, and now you're finally ready to hear them.